All right, what is the most important, or excuse me, what is most important to you when selecting a lender? Everybody is unique. Everybody is different in what they're looking for with a lender. A lot of times people will say what they care about, and it might not actually be uh, what they care about. And so that's something that when we're going through and talking with people, we want to find out what's most important to them. Is it communication? Is it a knowledgeable mortgage officer? Are you somebody who only cares about the rates and the costs? Are you somebody who's just looking for a specific program? Are you looking for somebody that you trust explicitly to be able to help you? That's different for each individual person. And when we go through, we try and make sure that we have a conversation with you so that we can be able to match exactly what you're looking to do when we're going through there. Um, a lot of times people are just looking for the most important or the lowest rate and the lowest fees, and I can completely understand that. The big thing that we talk about with people is that, and I think about, everybody's been in a situation where they've paid less up front and they realized really quickly that they should have spent a little bit more. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're always more expensive, but it's one of those situations that you want to make sure that you're having a good experience through this, and you don't want to be in that situation where you're thinking, if I would have just done a little bit more, I think this would have been a much better experience for us. So the first thing that we want to do when we meet with people is that we want to go through and have a conversation, whether that be we're having a Zoom call, a Teams call, we're talking to you on the phone, or if we set up an appointment to be able to talk to you in person. But each borrower is unique. We want to find out what is most important to you. Listening is one of our best attributes that we have. We go through and we ask questions to be able to find out what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish. Just because you're purchasing a home and your friend is purchasing a home does not mean that you're going to have the same goals throughout the process of paying for the loan. If you have one individual who wants to have a low payment but is going to throw large lump sums of money at the loan, it might not be beneficial for them to do the same rate as somebody else who is just going to make a minimum payment every single month for the next 360, 240, or 180 months. And so when we're going through, we want to ask those questions to find out what you're trying to accomplish so that we can be able to accomplish those goals. One of the benefits that we have at the credit union is we have a lot of different products that are available. We have some loan products that don't have any fees that are short-term mortgages. And so they're on a 5, 7, 10, 12-year option. But there's sometimes where if somebody can be able to take a little bit of a higher payment, they can be able to have a no-fee mortgage, and we can be able to help them with a plan that a broker or a different lender may not have available. That's why we want to go through and ask questions, find out what you're trying to accomplish, and be able to match our different products that we have with you. So when we're asking these questions, they'll further the discussion. So we take the needs, we blend them with a plethora of our products. So we're the professionals in this situation. Now, I try and grab control of the reins of the conversation so that I can be able to ask the questions that I find to be important. But at the same time, we want to allow you to breathe and listen and explain what you're trying to do. We'll match those desires with our products and help you accomplish your goals. It's very rare that we sit down with people where there's nothing that we can be able to do to be able to help them out. It's extremely rare when we're in those situations. So if we can be able to sit down, look at all of things. What are your assets? How many homes do you own? What kind of income do you have? And we can be able to put together a lot of different things to be able to help you that many people might not be able to do. So we go through, so that's going to be step 2, is taking that discussion and going through and taking care of everything. Step 3, a lot of times people think applying is just going to be the finish line. And so applying is not the finish line. Let's say that somebody has the ability to apply. They've got income, down payment. They're going through and they're like, we're ready to go. One question I always ask people is that if you were to find the perfect home today, would you make an offer on it? If the answer to that is yes, then you need to get pre-approved. And the pre-approval is going to be an important aspect for you so that we can be able to know exactly what you can and cannot apply for. We talked earlier about not all situations are the same. Not all buyers are the same in the timing that they have. Not all sellers are the same in the timing that they have. So it's not necessarily just the costs and everything that goes along with it. It's how quickly can we be able to get things done, or situations that we have. So those are things that we're taking into account when we're going through everything. So we'll go through, we do the application for you, we get that pre-approval done so that you can be able to know that you have or have the confidence to know that you, when you go make an offer, that you can be able to close in a certain time frame. We like to make sure we have a conversation with your real estate agent and make sure that we're setting up realistic goals for what we're trying to accomplish. Some individuals can be able to close fast because they've got all of their down payment, they're ready to go, they're not receiving a gift. Another individual might be receiving a gift from a family member. And so those things can sometimes take a little bit of time, maybe an extra day or so when we're going through. We also need to look at the calendar and make sure that with the holidays that we have coming up, that we're setting up realistic timelines. The amount of contracts that I had in June that closed on Juneteenth was unique this year. So we had 2. Obviously, we're not open. The state's not open, but all counties are different. Some of the counties are closed on Monday, so they give their employees a 3-day weekend rather than maybe a Thursday that the day is. So those are all things that we need to take a look at and make sure that we're setting everything up appropriately so that you have a clear time to be able to get everything done. So, all right, next slide. Why are we better? So that's a big one we went through. What makes Canyon View Credit Union better than other lenders in the marketplace? I think the first thing is that you can be able to get in touch with us. If you give us a call on a Friday afternoon, somebody's going to pick up their phone. I give individuals my cell phone number. I'm available till 11 p.m. 7 days a week. If you have any questions, you can be able to call my cell, text me, and I can be able to get you taken care of. So we want to make sure that we're accessible so that we can be able to take care of you. We know that the credit union closes, but in this business, we don't really take time off. And so we want to make sure that we're getting you taken care of. We want to make sure that there's not long phone waits. You're not calling a database. You're not calling a call center. You're calling us individually to be able to talk to us. And that's just not when we're doing the loan. That's also long-term. We can be able to take care of you long-term with these loans. So we can be your one-stop call from the time that you qualify all the way until you get your loan paid off. We know the local market. We understand the markets. We'll go through this a little bit later, but we have mortgage officers in many different areas here in the Wasatch Front. We have them up in in Davis County. We have a lender down in St. George. We really know the local market to be able to help people. We also know our limitations, and if you ask questions on what we can be able to do, we can be able to say that's more of a question for a realtor, and we can even get the realtor on the phone to be able to talk to them and get those answers for you. So easier communication when problems arise. We don't have a generic process. It really is customized to you and what you're trying to accomplish. Every loan is different so that we can be able to make sure that we get you taken care of. All right, so let's say that we've gotten you pre-approved. We've gone through, we've found a home, and we're able to get everything going for you. So there's many things that can be able to derail a closing. So when we're going through and getting everything taken care of for you, we want to make sure these are things that can derail the process, but these are things that we can actually in advance be able to see them. But some of these things can be able to pop up. A low appraisal is something that can be able to pop up. That's not something that we could foresee. Missing documents. There are times where we have little things in Zions Bank always has a page on their statements that says this page is intentionally left blank. And a lot of times people don't send it to us, but that's something that we have to have because if it says the statement 6 pages, we need all 6 pages. So those are the types of tedious things that we want to we see beforehand so that we can be able to let you know. There are times where people have employment changes. I had somebody under contract on a home and they called and they said, Taylor, I'm thinking about taking another job. And it's like, okay, well, let's talk about the time frame that it's going to take you to get into the other job. What are the guidelines? And we took a couple days to be able to go through and figure out what the best course of action was. I always ask people to think of what their primary goal is when they're trying to accomplish something. So if your primary goal is to be able to get into a home and you're under contract on the home and you have a new job offer, what is the primary goal? Is it to possibly put that on hold and get that new job? Or is it might be more important for you to close on your home and then look for a new job after? Those are all things that we can have a conversation about. I'm not here to make that decision for you. I want to give you the information so that you can be able to take care of you and your family the best that you know how. Other things that can be able to derail things is that large bank deposits. There are times where people will move money around, or they decide, well, it'd just be easier than selling this stock. Mom will give me this money. Does that program allow for a gift? Those are all things that we want to have a conversation about. Buying a new car. A lot of times people will think, I have a payment of $461. The new payment's going to be $491. It's not that big of a deal. Well, there could be a lot of things that could make that a big deal. That extra $30 that's there is roughly $6,000 in how much you could qualify for. So if you're at your top point, that may be an issue for you. It may not be an issue at all for you, but it is also something that could pop up for us, even if the payment's lower, and we have to address it. So those are all things that we could have communication about. If you have anything that you're thinking about, you can be able to give us a call. Even if it's at 8:30 at night and you're thinking of something on a whim, feel free to give us a call. And if we're available, we'll answer the phone and we can be able to talk to you about what we could be able to do so that we don't have delayed underwriting or anything like that. We can set up a plan in place so that we can be able to get you taken care of. All right. The best mortgage officers are problem solvers. So at the very beginning, we can be a financial coach. We can help with the negotiation process, not in terms of talking to the other agents, because everybody has a role in what they're trying to accomplish. But it's really about helping the process so that we can be able to give the information to the realtor that we need, that they may need to be able to do the deal. And we can be on the receiving end of that. I had a deal recently that I had an individual who wanted to purchase a home. They loved this home that they found, but their current home that they owned had a mortgage on it, and they were having a difficult time selling it. They had an amount of money in savings, but they didn't want to deplete that entire savings account. And so we went through and I gave them all these options that I could be able to think of to be able to help them, and they just weren't comfortable moving forward with it. Their agent called me and said, Taylor, what if we did this? And I can't remember the details on it, but I was like, I didn't think about that. That's something that we could definitely be able to help with. And so I put all the numbers together and I called the borrower and I said, your agent said that this might be a good option. I've run all the numbers. What do you think about this? And she's like, this works for us. And so we were able to sit down and put together a good solution that they felt comfortable with so they could keep the home that they really wanted, and then they could be able to stay with the plan of buying a new home and then selling their current home. So we just want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to be able to help you with the information so that you can be able to go through and do what you need to do. The negotiation process could be important. I had one individual with that the seller did not want to move because they were moving into a new home, but they didn't want to move twice. And so it was important that they were under contract, but they wanted to stay in their home for a certain amount of time. They had an autistic son. It was going to be difficult for them to move already. They didn't want to move him twice. And so we went through and how we could be able to take care of them with the rate long term and everything that we could be able to do to make sure that it stayed the same, but we could be able to get them into the home. They were just going to be moving in 45, 50 days later than originally anticipated. The sellers were building a home and there was a little bit of a delay. We went, sat down, I talked to my management team of what we could be able to do, and we were able to set up a plan that could be able to work for everybody on that. So we really can be able to go through and get you taken care of. Our number one goal is to get your loan closed. How can we be able to do it? And that's really going to be an important thing for you. So we are problem solvers in that regard. Timeline manager, we talked about holidays a little bit. How can we be able to help with your timeline that you have to be able to get into a home? And so I had another situation where an individual was looking to purchase a home, and the sellers needed to move to Seattle because the gentleman worked with Boeing. Well, he was asked to move 2 weeks earlier than anticipated. So his wife and his son were at home. It was really important for them to be able to move up to Seattle to be with him. And so how could we be able to get this home closed in 14 days? That's not an normal time frame to be able to get it done. But how could we be able to do that? We went through to make sure that we've got everything that we need so we could go under contract and be able to get that done. So that was something that we weren't anticipating. My buyers really wanted to be on a 30-day time frame. They didn't want to be rushed through all of this. However, we were able to sit down and go through everything to make sure that they were comfortable with the process on how we could be able to get them done so that they could be able to get into that home. So we really want to be able to educate people on how we can be able to help them, what the potential pitfalls will be, and let them make decisions that are going to be best for them and their family. There's a lot of people that are going to be on your home buying team. There's going to be the realtor most likely. There's going to be the loan officer. There's going to be a title company. There's going to be an insurance agent. There's going to be an appraiser. There's going to be obviously a buyer. There's going to be a seller. So when we're going through, we want to make sure that everybody is working for the same goal to be able to get you taken care of. And this is where our communication skills are going to be really important, and making sure that we're on the same page with the title company, with the realtor, what we're trying to accomplish. This is where being available most days a week and all days a week can be able to help you. So we're here for you morning, noon, and night. We don't rest in this business. It's rare that we have to have a conversation at 9 o'clock at night, but sometimes it's needed to be able to get everything done. I had a couple who was purchasing a home with their parents, and she was a nurse, and she got off work at 9 o'clock, and she would get home and she'd always want to talk to me like at 9:45. And we just happen to have really, really long conversations. And so I knew that, and that was not a problem, so that we could be able to get them taken care of. That's what worked best for them and their family, so that they could be able all get together and we could be able to have a conversation. So we know that those are some of the things that we need to do to be able to get you taken care of. If we're not available to be able to do that, we'll let you know, but we'll make ourselves as available as possible to be able to get you taken care of in everything that we have going on. So those are just some of the things that why I feel that the credit union is really, really good in being able to take care of everything. We have 4 mortgage officers. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. We have 4 mortgage officers. Myself, I'm in the Salt Lake area. I've been at the credit union for 11 years. We have Heather. She's been here a year longer than myself. She's down in St. George. She's a wonderful mortgage officer. I wish that I had the thought process sometimes of Heather and the way that she's able to come up with solutions for things. So she's fantastic to be able to get people taken care of. Vicky's up in Bountiful. Vicky is a wonderful mortgage officer, and she works with agents very, very well. We all have strengths that we rely on. Allison is young. She does really well with the new borrowers, or young borrowers, and being able to take care of them, knows the lingo, uses a lot of acronyms that I just don't get. So she's fantastic to be able to help with people. We really just want to sit down and have conversations with you on what your goals are and how we can be able to help you. And if we can be able to do that, we can find a plan that works specifically for you to be able to get you taken care of. We have somebody that's asking a question about our promotional rate that we have right now. We do have a promotional rate available on purchases in the state of Utah. The rate on that is 5.99 with an APR of 6.273. It's for purchases only. These are one of the things that kind of sets us apart. We're able to have products that a lot of other people aren't able to have. This is a loan that is kept in-house with the credit union, so you'll always make your payment to the credit union. We're able to take care of you from the time that we have our first conversation all the way to the point where you get your loan paid off. That's going to be an important thing to be able to help with people and save people quite a bit of money right now. All right, somebody else has another question. Do we sell our loans or do we keep our loans? So we have the option to be able to do both. This is one of the new things that we have here at the credit union that's nice, is that we are able to ask you what's most important to you. So one of the questions that we're going through is it most important for us to take care of you long term, or are you trying to save a little bit of money on the rate? So sometimes it is cheaper for us just to do the loan and then sell it to possibly US Bank or Mr. Cooper or something like that. There's a couple other different investors that we could be able to sell to. Sometimes we're able to get cheaper pricing on our rates if we do that. The trade-off is that we're going to do your loan and then we don't take care of you long term. That's a question that I ask people when we're going through the process at the very beginning. Is it more important for you to be taken care of by the financial institution, We're a local lender. Everybody works in the state of Utah. We don't get more local than that. Or is it important for you to have the lowest rate possible? We can be able to customize the loan that works for you in that situation. We can be able to talk to you about what the difference is. It's not always the same every single day. So if we said, okay, well, the rate's going to be this much different on that, that could be different day by day, depending on your situation. Sometimes the rates are the same. Sometimes there's a bigger gap than what we typically see, depending on your situation. Those are all things that we want to take into account when we're going through this process. Those are things that we will ask questions, we get the answers, we know what's going to be most important to you, and we can be able to start to move forward with those types of things. Okay, it looks like we have another question. Loan products. So we do have different loan products that are available for people. We have 100% first-time home buyer loan that we have available. As I talked about, we have our 5.99% rate. So there are a lot of different loan products. This isn't one of those things where you have to have 20% down. We put out a program, I want to say it's about 5 years ago, maybe longer, maybe 7 years ago. It's our 100% financing product. It's a phenomenal product. We can do up to 100% of the purchase price or the appraised value, whichever is less. And there's no mortgage insurance on that loan. It's a phenomenal product, especially with first-time home buyers when they're looking at the 3% option that you'll typically see online. So first-time home buyers don't have to put as much cash down as somebody who's owned a home before. That's one of the biggest benefits for a first-time home buyer. We have a product where we can be able to compare those two. They typically will save a tremendous amount of cash down. If the average home price is $600,000 in this Salt Lake County, that's 3% would be $18,000. So we have a product that we could be able to do. You don't have to bring that $100,000 or that $18,000 down, and we can be able to get you into a payment that's very similar to what somebody would be if they had to put that money down with mortgage insurance. So we can look at all of those different options that can be able to help people. Let's see, somebody's asking about bridge loans. There's different ways that we can be able to set up bridge loans. If you Google a bridge loan, a traditional bridge loan is not really a loan product that's available as it was in the past. And so, but there's things that we can be able to do to be able to help people take care of that. If you're thinking about selling your home and buying a new one, we need to have a conversation immediately. And the reason is there's things that we can be able to set up to be able to help people long term. I have one individual that I'm helping right now. I talked to him about 8 months ago, and he called me and he said, Taylor, I'm thinking about buying a new home because our home is just a little bit too small. And so we were like, okay, how are we going to set this up in terms of how much cash he wanted to put down? And he really did not want to pay mortgage insurance, but he didn't have 20% liquidity to be able to put down. So what could we be able to do? And so we set up a home equity line of credit for him 8 months ago on his primary residence so that he could be able to transfer some of the equity from his home, make sure he put the 20% down so he didn't have mortgage insurance. And then when he gets into the new home, he's going to be selling and paying off the HELOC. If he had told me about this while he wanted to get pre-approved, that's not an option that we would have had. So if you're thinking about doing something, I highly recommend that you give us a call and we can be able to have a conversation with it. Even if you take 20, 30 minutes of our time and we go through everything and it doesn't materialize in anything, that you at least know the answers to it and what you're trying to accomplish. So it's important, I think it's important for us to be there, to be able to have conversations with you, to answer questions that you have, no matter how small they may be, and really make sure that you know what's going to be best for you and your family and your long-term goals and what you're trying to accomplish. The markets are always moving, changing on what's going on. ADUs is a big thing that has popped up over the last 24 months that wasn't even a thing a few years ago. I found this to be interesting because I lived in Milwaukee for a little bit, and almost every single home in certain areas where there should be a garage, there was actually another home. So they had some sort of program in the 70s, 80s where, and these addresses were like 101 or 101 and a half. And so this program was set up to be able to help build these homes because they were having, there's not enough land to be able to build and having housing issues. So there's different stuff that becomes available. There's different guidelines that are available. As ADUs become more common, the lending guidelines become more common for them. So all of those things that we're looking at, if that's something that you're thinking about, even long term, let's have a conversation about it on what we could be able to do to be able to help you out now and in the future. If you're 58 years old and you're thinking about retiring, what kind of loan products do we have available to be able to help you long term? Even if your home's paid off, what would be a good option for you to take care of some things? I had a lady that came into my office. She planned on giving her home to her niece, and then her niece bought a home because she decided that she wanted a home right then. She's like, well, if she already owns a home, she doesn't need my home, and I'd like to enjoy my retirement. How can we be able to do those sorts of things? And so we looked at a reverse mortgage. We looked at a home equity line of credit. We looked at refinancing. She possibly wanted to sell and move into a condo so that she didn't have to take care of her home. I got her in touch with a local agent who could be able to go through and give her a market analysis on her home. Then she thought about finishing her basement to rent it out. So she had all of these ideas on what she wanted to do. And we went through, and it took us 5, 6, 7 months to be able to figure out what she wanted. She ended up doing a home equity line of credit to be able to possibly travel and possibly fix up some things around the home. So we're here coming to work every day to be able to help you. We're at our branches. It's great to set up an appointment with us, but we can be able to talk about all of these different things that can be able to help you and how we can be able to help you achieve your goals. All right, do we have any other questions up there? Nope, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. If you have any questions moving forward, you're more than welcome to be able to reach out to me. As I said, the communication's there. My cell phone number, 801-201-9262. I'm available. You can text me anytime. I'm a night owl, so if you just want to text me late, you're more than welcome to. However, we can be able to be there to be able to take care of you. All of our email addresses are listed. You can be able to send us an email, and we can be able to get you taken care of. Give us a call. Let's have a conversation on what your goals are, and then we can be able to help you achieve those. I really appreciate everybody's time today and everybody's input. If anybody has any questions, reach out to us, and we hope to talk to you soon.